All right. I know the fat well, so I need to hit the gym very soon. Very, very soon. To hit the gym very soon. Cheers. Yeah, man. A beer sinner, you know. My brother, a Chris, when you want grieve me when I come Japan, so I might come enjoy my life for that your club. Need to officially do the Benin launching of your club, whatever. The Rio. One arrange one of those Japanese fine baby man as a bachelor when my Mario. Mm. I greet you too, my brother. Destiny, OZ Asabo, Bright Obasa, it's one. Okay, Oteme Alpha, do we or four sweaty, sweaty. Now, how do you mean? Yeah, I did it, Oteme. I have an uncle who stays in Japan. So the other time he invited me, yeah, I didn't do the awkward. Yeah, I call you a later time so that we can take the discussion out. Call time, man. I greet all of you. I greet all of you. Uh, I greet all of you. Hmm. um, I never do, Mr. Eugene. Any area where so that yeah, I always like chickism. It's like chickism. Once I'm married, I'm married. I I go outside as a sugar daddy. Uh, all right, I'm going to talk about a very interesting topic. All right, the topic I have avoided it for a while, and I'm going to give you background knowledge, and then so that people can understand details. Details are really very important when it comes to conflicts. All right, there's nothing anybody to be afraid of. But I will, man. Your baby plenty past my own. But I will, man. Your baby plenty past my own. It's tricky, it's sensitive, but don't worry. It's nothing anybody needs to be uncomfortable with this topic. All right. I'm not gonna take sides. I'm not taking sides. I'm just gonna lay the entire details down so that people should understand. A month ago, I was called specifically to address this issue through a press conference. All right. I I denied it. I said I was not going to address. In short, I got a call from very top people from the palace. I said I denied because if you have understood something about me, is Oduwa, is that if not I'm not my allegiance first is to myself, second to the land, and thirdly to the throne. If I'm not convinced about something, I don't talk about it. So if I'm talking about it at this very instant, meaning I've been able to do my research, and in order for us to table some of these details, I'm going to balance the entire conversation. All right. First and foremost, some persons when I had made a post, uh, that's a secret. I will see until my beers reach Obavora Meo, I will never rest. All right. So I'm going to give you a background details about a lot of this things so that people will understand where I'm speaking from, so that people will understand. It's not as if his other one wants to take sides. I'm not taking side. I'm just going to give you the facts of the entire things that happened. For some of you who do not know, I worked as a civil servant in 2018 with Edo Geographic Information Service, Edo GIS, the one of the most remarkable creation of Obaseki's government. I worked as a civil servant for 6 months. All right. My appointment letter sticker is September for 2018, but I also have a letter that I resigned about 5 to 6 months later, January 30, 2019, where I started my own consultancy firm, Overall Consult, where I started doing CFO for people and all that. After which, about a year or so, I delved into rehousing estate, which is my current core. So, in other words, if any Benin person could stand up and say that he has benefited from the policies of Obaseki, I'm one of the I'm one of the very foremost. So I benefited from the policies of Obaseki. I don't get involved in politics. I don't discuss. You can never say Zodowa discussing about whether Obaseki is good. I just wanted to say this so that to give people background that I do not hate someone who created policies that put food on my table today. All right. So we have to first of all get that details very clearly. All right, that details very clearly. The policies that Obaseki create is what is putting food on my table today. So I'm one of the biggest beneficiary of Obaseki's government from the private sector. All right. It therefore now states that by the virtues of right, because I benefited from his policies, if he's making some certain mistakes, it doesn't really concern me if he's making political mistakes. All right. What really concerns me is I've always told people whatever politician does is not my problem. I'm a private person. I like to be free. I don't like to be entangled to anybody. All right. But when it now comes to cultural heritage, when it comes to the cultural heritage of our people, oh come on! If people says I can't speak on topics like this, then what relevance do I have? This is our heritage we're talking about. So I have, if it's anybody on the social media space of today, all right, that can talk so much about these things, is me. I'm in one of the best positions to talk about these things. And when I talk about these things, uh, I'm not going to take sides. All right. I made a post on my Facebook page yesterday. I'm not interested, as of yesterday, I wasn't interested in whether the government is right or whether the palace is right. I've only said one thing, that I heard some people are saying that the artifacts in question belongs to the Edo people. That will any Edo person be able to come out and tell me which of the Edo people or which of the Edo person those artifacts were stolen from? Someone attempted, only one person, all of about 200 comments on my page, only one person attempted. He said something about Olia, he said something about Ero, the issue that was stolen from the Ero's palace. And I said, no, that issue was stolen decades after the British invasion of 1897. And I'm very close to the President Olia of Benin. Never at any time we've had discussions that anything was carried from Olia's palace. All right? So that anything was carried away from Olia's palace. So the question is, all those artifacts in all of these museums all over the world, where were those artifacts taken from? The answer is it was taken from the palace. So who owns it? The owner of the palace owns those artifacts, which is the Oba of Benin. When we understand that, there are no complexities. I want to make it bare. There are no complexities. The first thing I wanted people to understand in all of these conflicts is that, first of all, let it be established that the owner of the artifact is the Oba of Benin. That is the first step. When we have established that first step, other things become simpler. There are no complications about it. It becomes very simple for us to handle because we've been able to get the first thing clear, which is the owner of the artifact is the Oba of Benin. Now, there's another side to that talk. Okay, it was the Edo people that produced those artifacts, but owned by the Oba of Benin. Now, the question is that, do we know the primary purpose of Iguneomo? The primary purpose of Igbesama? Because all of us gives the entire credit to only Iguneomo. Iguneomo are bronze casters. Those things that were carted away were not only bronzes. Some of them were ivories. Some ivory carvers, the likes of the Besama. All right. Why was the Besama Git created? Why was the Igun created? Why was the Boha? The iron makers, the iron smithers, or something like the iron smithers. Why were they created? I'll give all of us this historical background so that we'll understand. But when we are saying that Edo people, Oba, Edo, Oba, it's a parable in Benin. Yes, the Edo people can lay claim to the artifact. The Edo people can have stake in the artifact. All right? But the ownership rights of those artifacts, it's the Oba of Benin. That's the first step I wanted us to be very clear about. When we're clear about that, we can move forward to the conflict. There are two basic conflicts. Not a complicated conflict. Two basic conflicts. First, a museum should be built. The government agrees that the museum has to be built. The royal palace agrees that the museum has to be built. That is a common ground. There are no conflicts about that. The museum surely will be built. All right? So we'll stop talking about the differences and the agreement. There is an agreement both between the Benin Royal House and the state government that a museum should be built to house these artifacts. In quote, in bracket now, artifact owned by the Oba of Benin. That will help us in understanding the details of this video. All right, that will make us understand the details of this video, okay? So the artifact owned, in bracket, whenever I'm talking, just know, put in the back of your mind that the artifact in question that we're talking about belongs to someone. The Oba of Benin, okay? Calm down. All right, okay, that's about the first details. Okay, there's a common ground. The museum has to be built. All right. The problem number one is this. Where will the museum be sited? Conflict number one. Where should the museum be sited? Conflict number one. The royal palace says it should be sited here. The state government said it should not be sited here. I'm coming to that. Conflict number one. Conflict number two. The name of the museum. Conflict number two. All right? The royal palace said it has to be the Benin Royal Museum, while our governor said it has to be What was that name again? I beg you. That's in long way. Um, I want to that name Emowa, Edo, whatever West Africa. This is very long. I can't remember. I was supposed to cram it. I just cram it. I just throw it and boah. All right, but that's a conflict. Let me not distract people. Yes, I know it's Emowa, but what's the full meaning? Where the full meaning? Emowa, no. Where full meaning? It's double A. But what's the full meaning? That's what I'm saying. Someone should bring the full meaning. All right, so that we can compare. These are the two. In all of these, we're talking about. These are the two issues, fundamental issues, two fundamental issues. Aside other skeletal issues like Obaseki trying to say that it is through his government that convinced these people to bring these artifacts. That is a bloody lie from the governor, if I must say. All right, the advocacy for the return of the artifacts started long ago by Baridia. Long ago, even when Obaseki was a toddler, was a small boy. All right, but he's not saying, he's not trying to take the glory. That it's through his time as a governor that they want to bring the artifact. That's a Your Excellency, that's a bloody lie. That's not true. All right, we are students of history. We are quite aware about history very well. And you are saying almost 20 something years that Crown Prince Henede, before he became the Oba, when he was an ambassador to a lot of European countries, that he wasn't also advocating for the return of this artifact. So you're just going to boycott all of these things and want to take the glory. That's not true. That's very wrong with you, Your Excellency. All right, but these are some of the side talks. You understand? The other talks like the palace, the government, the state government is not carrying the palace along and all that. All those are side talks. The two basic talk is what I'm talking about, where it should be cited and what should be the name. Okay, these are the two basic factors that has culminated into a lot of these issues. Okay, okay. No. Let's not talk about hidden issues. I don't want us to play those suspicious games. I want us to get the details right. After we've gotten the details right, then we can now go and say whatever we want to say. All right. But let's get the details right. These are the basic two details. A lot of persons were saying because a lot of persons were saying because a lot of persons were saying because um, um, a lot of persons were saying because money was involved, £122 million, and that's why Obaseki wants to take over the entire process. I also believe that is also side talk. Those are side talks. If there are conflicts, side talks from this side talks from these are all basic side talks. But what I had discovered on my own, maybe there are more. But what I, as of now, what I have authentically as the details, it's where the museum should be sited and what should be the name of the museum. Okay, so these are things that we will now ravel. Okay, now on where the museum should be sited, the palace said it should be sited within the palace territory or palace ground. I want us to get it very clearly. In short, that's why I brought a book. I want to show you guys something very important. I want to show you guys I want to show you guys something really very important. The palace said it should be the monarch said that it should be sited within the palace ground. All right, that's what the palace said. Now, anybody can play politics with that statement. But after this, nobody cannot play politics with that statement because I'm going to now convey the instances of what the palace meant, that it should be sited in the palace ground. Okay? I'm going to break that down. Now, people are saying that no, it cannot be sited in the palace ground because the palace is too small to have those artifacts, to have a museum. Now, that's where people are getting it wrong. I've already said that there is already an agreement that a museum will be built. Okay, now that is an agreement between both parties. Now the conflict is, where should the museum be built? Now, if the palace is saying that it should be within the palace ground, that means a museum should be built within the palace ground. Not that the Oba is going to put all of these things in his private bedroom. He can, if he wants to. It's his property. I've said that. Do you get? He can. We have to first of all understand that. All right? We have to first of all understand that he can. If he wants to, it's his private property. It's his property. That's why I said, let's always, when we're discussing this, let us have this in the back of our mind. It is his property. Then some people said that it's not his property. It's Edo State, it's Nigeria's government property. And I was like, whoever said that has to be foolish and stupid. Because you know why? Even the money me Boris steal during Nigeria, when Nigeria has been formed, just a few years ago, was returned to Delta State government. Not to think about artifacts that were stolen about 14, 17 years before the formation of Nigeria, automatically now becomes the property of Nigeria or state government. If it's federal government's property, they should build the museum in Abuja now. So we'll forget the matter. Then Fulani people, they take care of the museum. Probably they are taking Zabasha's route. Okay, I've said that very clearly. So where should it be sited? That's where I was. It should be sited, the palace should be sited within the palace territories, palace ground. Then Obaseki said, I don't know, he hasn't said anything. Probably that's what he thinks, that the palace ground is too small. So we can't, for the kind of idea that he has of a world-renowned museum, it has to be sited outside the palace ground. Because probably the reason that he has is that the palace ground is too small. That's why it has to be taken outside the palace territories or the palace ground, the Oba's palace, to be sited somewhere else. That probably he will tell us as times proceed. Yes. Anwayon, I do my drink. Anwayon. All right. So that's what Obaseki said. He said it should be cited. Then a lot of Benin people started to support Obaseki because they feel that if it is within the palace ground, fewer people are going to have access. Don't forget, an agreement has been reached that a museum will be built within the palace ground or outside the palace ground. So that means even if it's sited in the palace ground, it will be a museum. It will not be Oba's bedroom or Duenrie, that sort of thing. So people were like, we have to showcase that we have been hiding all of our histories, all of our art, all of our blah, blah, blah. Our art is not hidden. It's everywhere. It's the most talked about art all over the world. So I don't know where these people are saying. Some said for the advancement. Some said for you to build the economy. You understand? He's going to give jobs. All right? So that's the point. If it's economic power, if you are trying to use those acts for only economic reasons to give jobs, I would Kukuma just say that we should write letter to all of these museums that they should be paying us a particular amount of money every year. Let it just be there. So that since it's for jobs and at least the money that we realize will be used in creating jobs for our people here. If it's only for the sake of economy, for the sake of it will open up our economy. All right? Let's just make it as business. But those artifacts are much more important than business. They are not mere ornaments. They have history that they tell. They have spiritism that they have glory that they took along with them when they were taking art from the palace. It is only true. It's just like when you put a fish An aquatic animal like a fish, you put it on land, you don't expect that fish to survive because it's not its natural environment. It's just like animals that climb trees, arboreal animals. You put them on land, they won't be able to survive. They have to find a way to climb trees. So when you bring those artifacts and put it out within a spiritual domain, the palace ground, all right, it loses its spiritual value to the Edo people. There becomes a piece of wood, just like the way it is to the British and to all the museums scattered over Europe and in North America. So we have to get some of the things aside our myopic view of the economic implications of citing that museum in Benin land. We should also look at what these artifacts represent to us as a people. All right? Not just solely economic. These things were not even created to make money in the first place. These things were not created to make money. But now that these things can make money, it should retain its natural perception, the natural, the natural order of creation, the reason why it was naturally created, and also serve in creating resources or creating jobs for the people. It is the wisdom of the ancestors. Now get me, I say. All right. But this is where it is dicey. This is where it is dicey. This is where it is dicey. Okay? In all of these, this is where it is dicey. And I want you all to take acknowledgement of this. This is where it is dicey. That is why I said, until you are deep in the Benin history and heritage, you continue to make fool of yourself. All right? When the monarch, when the palace said the museum will be sited in the palace ground, a lot of people thought they were talking about the present four corners of the Oba's palace. This is where it's dicey. This is where I needed to educate the ignorance of our people. When they said the museum will be sited in the palace ground, people think it's just the present four corner walls of the palace that the Oba is referring to. No. No, that's where we are missing it. That is where whoever that is advising some of these persons has to have knowledge about our history. You understand? That's where they have to have knowledge about our history. Now, the palace that the British meant in 1897 is 10 times or even 20 times bigger than the present day palace. The palace that was destroyed in 1897 is almost 20 times as big as the present day palace in 2021. So all of those places that was destroyed in 1897 that has now been given to people, I'm going to tell you the landscape of what we call palace ground, all right, are still called palace territories or palace ground till date. And that's what people do not understand. When the palace said it should be sited within the palace ground or palace territories, all right? Palace ground or palace territories, they are not referring to the four corners of the present day palace. Someone asked, were you there? I have first class information from the palace. All right? Okay. What is special about building it in another place? That's the first question I've asked. A museum should be built and it has to be centrally built. It cannot be built in the outskirts of Benin. The palace territories is centrally enhanced. All right? I've just told you the implication, returning it to where it was taken. Most of the artifacts were taken from Oba Voramen's bedroom. Oba Voramen's bedroom is where the present Oba Akenswa Cultural Center is sited. That was his bedroom. That was where he was sleeping. That was the bedroom of the Obas. Now I'm going to give you the scope of the palace ground so that people will understand. You see that roundabout called Ring Road. was called Unogwa. It was the entrance into the palace. That was the entrance into the palace, the runabout. The runabouts are when Graham Conan did an archaeological excavation in Benin in 1976. Most of the excavations he did within the palace ground were conducted inside that museum ground, Obavaramen, called Obavaramen Square. That was the entrance. All right. It terminated by the side with Oba Market. Unua Behe. All right. Unua Behe Street. For some of us who knows Unua Behe Street. All those what's it called now? The Oredo Secretariat are all palace grounds. All right. Down to Alaka Street, the right-hand side of that's where the palace ground ended at the right-hand side. Then towards the left-hand side, it's huge, it's magnificent, it's very huge. Those House of Assembly, what is it called? A post office, Obakezwa Cultural Center, what's it called? This Edo State Management Board, Central Hospital, down to all those, down to the prison in Saple Road, down to Ekyokbaga, the right-hand side of Utatan Street or Sokomba. Those were all palace. And the right-hand side was called Ogbe. Sokomba was a delineation between Ogbe and Ogbe. Benins are classified into two. The central metropolitan Benins is classified into two. We call it Ogbe and I've forgotten. If I remember, I would just say that. Now the prison, the present day Edo State, the present day prison in Saple Road was also a prison, exactly the same place that that Oba Ewedo had created the prison system, the prison ground. Ewedo had created the prison ground in the palace, and it was adjacent, it was beside those areas were called the Enahen quarters. Those were the quarters where the Oba of Benin's wives were stationed inside the palace. The palace was so huge. Egbo, thick forest, Agbugbo. All right, no, I'm trying to remember something. Oe no hwa. I think Oe no hwa Zebu Ogbe. There's a word we use. Benin metropolitan city is divided into two, Ogbe and the other side. There's a word we use. There's a word we use and all that. Okay, now down to Ogbelaka. All right. Now we're talking about it. Some of you will understand Benin. Are we talking about? Are you seeing how huge the palace ground is? Down to Ogbelaka, down to Secretariat. Those secretariats that you see are all inside the palace ground. Then it calls back to, because the palace do not cross the moat. Palace Mafi Yagbera, you must understand. It delineates here. Down to almost biting state headquarters police. Down all those avenues that Okada Avenue, where Igbinedian's house is, almost crossing all those new layouts, new judiciary quarters that Obaseki just built, because it doesn't cross the moat. So all those NUJ is not part of it, because Egwemafi Agbera doesn't cross the moat. Understand? It delineates it like that. On our close observer, that vegetable market area back, the Lalaka, those were the territorial sphere of the palace territory, and it's still being regarded as the territorial territories of the Oba of Benin. What the Oba have said, within this cycle, let's look for a place within this cycle let's look for a place and site the museum. Not inside the present four corners of the palace. Do we understand the technicalities of terms? He always said it should be built within the palace ground. A lot of people mine a palace ground. The present palace ground is within the original palace ground. In this case, we are saying it should be built, the palace is saying it should be built within the context of the original palace ground, wherever. And the palace even went ahead to get a very huge portion of this palace ground. It's not inside the present four corners of palace ground. All right? Buildings can be bought. Certainly, those are rickety buildings. Those are rickety buildings, can be bought and they'll be relocated. Yeah. Before 200, I can spend 150 to 200 million. All of those buildings will be bought. So that we have a museum in the heart of Benin that still falls within the palace ground. Why am I Dogbo? A bit why am I Aho? Why am I a Kenwa Barak? I don't understand. You understand? Even if they build it in where the present museum is still within the palace ground. That's what the palace have said. It should be built within the palace ground. Not a lot of people think it's the four corner words of the present day palace. To me, there are no conflicts. Obaseki now should not go and meet the Oba, his father, and ask, okay, we're not boy the palace ground. Why her? I'm sure the palace is going to give him the explanation I just gave. We're not saying the palace ground is too small now. It is not even containing a lot of things that the palace wants to do safe. If not because of it means so much to our history. Actually relocated by because it's too small. If not because of what it represents our history, it should not be a taboo. It should not be the first time the palace has been relocated. The palace left from Beku to Wundun, from Wundun to Wundun. The palace left to Beku to Wundun to Ogbe, from Ogbe to Usama back to Ogbe. So the palace has been moving. If not because of what it now represents, I think we palace about it. Because the palace now is not too small. So considering how small the palace is, the Oba will not even want a museum to be sited within the four walls of the present day palace. It's too small. But that's not what the palace meant when he said it should be sited on the palace ground. That's not what it meant. He meant, or the palace, or they meant. All of them meant. I will give on more gig. So, what is now the quarrel? Obaseki is supposed to go meet the monarch, the owner of these artifacts, and tell him, you said the palace ground, why her? Can we get a space that is big enough? This is the square meters, or this is how many feet of land that we need. And your mom will now said, okay, let's buy some houses. Those houses, but since all of us are clamoring for the advancement of Benin economic power, so some of these people will sacrifice their Gyogbe because it's for us to get job, abi. So I be sacrificing Gyogbe. So a lot of these things will be bought up, compensated, and houses will be built for those people. A joint collaboration between the royal house and the state government. An agreement will be reached on how to do all of that. There are no complications. All right? But the present government is bent on taking the decision of Namibi, the governor. I must do it like this. And I will tell you why it will not bar. I'll tell you why it will not bar. You understand? Oh no, Mr. Francis, maybe you've not been listening. I've just resolved the space issues. It's not going to be built inside the four corners of the palace. I've already explained. Maybe you should, after the video, go back to the beginning. I'm saying the present four corners of the palace is not what you refer to as the original four corners of the palace. The palace is way bigger. The palace has a Sokmomba Road. All of those Sokmomba are a prison ground. And on Lokopano are the present day prison, Nigeria prison. It was called Uloke Nahen. And Nahen used to be the former name of the first wife of the Oba of Benin, Awate Nahen. Now it's now called Ison area, but the former name now was in Nahen. There was an Uloko tree that fell in the 80s. Was it in the 70s? As told to me by Dr. Aishen Hagoswa. And I had to Uloko Nahen, because that was a quarter of the Oba's wives, the harem, Udwenrie, the harems of Oba's wives. If I am Kennedy, do prison, the Nigeria prison ground, they gave a sapler. Those were all palace territories. I think I've given a clue about that. So let me not go back on that matter. Understand? So I'm not interested in any politics in all of this. I've already made it clear from the very beginning. I'm saying that instead of conflict, this is what should have been. This is what should have been done. This is what can still be done. Let's get it clear. When the palace is palace territory, all right, there's still a lot of big space within these palace territories that are not within the palace. I don't go confuse myself with too many English, I beg. But I think I've explained that. I'll soon block you because I don't know why, for whatever reasons, why you are so dumb. I don't understand. How does Oromiya Igodomigodo concerns this discussion that we are having? You can't. if I say my see possible, I remember I say Ozo what do you call concern Igodomigodo Oromiya for this artifact issue? We still mention we can't be also I don't understand. Anyway, Sha, no problem. You understand? The guy matter. I just if I block and I will still go use another person. We'll also go open another page. No, the guy get wala. Okay, like I was saying. Um, there's a big space. Two, I'm proposing. It's the other one, the proposer. Some of you are close to the governor. Go and tell him that it's otherwise proposing. There's a very big space opposite the palace, the present day palace. There's a very big space. Their houses, it's bettered with secretariat. Secretariat can be moved. I don't know if secretariat, the present already secretariat is not even supposed to be there. It's too central. You can remove that building. That building will not cost 200 million to develop. I remove all of those buildings, all of those rickety buildings there. And there's already a big space there. Some of those spaces can be bought. It will be huge. Most of these modern buildings does not require hectares. A university at Bonia there. Now, there's another space between Oba Akenzwa Cultural Center. I checked it today when I was driving past there. There's a very big space there between Oba Akenzwa Cultural Center, Edo Management Board, and House of Assembly. There's a very big space where the what's it called? Post office, old post office. It's non-functional. Take all of those buildings out. There's a very big space and it's very strategic. It's the heart of Benin. Yeah? You understand? So there's a very big space. Okay. So a lot of those things. There's space. It's just that the governor now is just trying to prove stubborn. He's just trying to according to the Nigeria Constitution. Damn the Nigeria Constitution, my brother. These things we are talking about, senior Nigeria with hundreds of years. Damn Nigeria. Damn Nigeria. Oh, Nigeria. We're talking about an institution that is about 2057 years old. You talk about Nigeria and that if not be saying they're not quit bomb me, I suppose senior Nigeria. I suppose senior Nigeria, if they say they're not quit bomb me, if they quit bomb me, if my papa quit bomb me, if me add in Nigeria. I'm already beyond. Honestly, honestly, the Nigeria not gym, man. I don't have maintenance culture. No, it's not too busy. The British Museum, where is it sited? Is it sited in the forest? Oh, it's too busy. Is it not the busier the better? Will you not leave? Will you not leave Wariebo because you want to see artifacts? I beg you. Most of the people who is coming to see the artifact are not even Edo people. What you don't see once, you go to see every day. Most of the people coming to see the artifacts are outsiders, and they need central located place like Ring Road area. That's a perfect place. Umueria Horomi, where the Izigani is troubling them. I will talk about that guy just now. What's the time? It's almost 1 hour. Okay. Now, I talked about two conflicts. I mean, they watch ball. My queer round, so my go watch second half for Portugal and Belgium. So, so the second conflict is the name. It's the name. Who first secure him? Who will use juju tie na? Who will use juju take tie? Am I worried about buy? Am I worried about a ball? So one of my friends said that now they are not talking about air conditioner, not talking about good humidity in preserving. So when we were preserving this thing for 500 years before they came to steal it, were there air conditioner? Were there good humidity? Worry about baloe. I was sanctified there with juju. Okay, I'm just trying to be funny. Okay, I understand. You two like match, Mr. Francis Ogeria. All right, I'm just trying not to allow. I just wanted people not to get too tense about some of these things. There are no big deals about it. The Obaseki should understand the palace and play along with the palace. A compromise should be reached. The compromise we're talking about is the palace is not going to determine the instrumentality. Okay, for example, the guy that the David Ajayi, the British Ghanaian guy that came up with the architectural structure and all that, brilliant. A lot of Benin people were clapping. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, it's brilliant. But what is the element of Benin architectural pattern? We're brilliant. One of the best. We had an architectural pattern that can rival any architectural patterns you see all of this in all of this world. There has to be element of some people who are really groomed and grounded. In that Obaseki, SSA, I think they had a conference 2-3 days ago. I saw them taking pictures. I was like, all of these people taking pictures, what do they know about Jackson, Jews, about Benin art, culture, and heritage? Where we have brilliant minds, a lot of my mentors who were not invited, who will probably would tell you, say, this is what you should do. The architectural pattern is beautiful. We don't have any, but there should be an element of Benin architectural pattern within the context of what David Ajayi, the so-called person, let him come to Benin. We take him around. Let him study the Benin architecture. All right. Let him have some workings with some of these Owina, the Benin architects, so that we can have elements. This is a Benin museum. It is not Nigerian museum. It's not West African museum. They throw away that Mowa name. Even in the gallery, it's called Great Benin Gallery in the British Museum. So I see no reason why the museum cannot reflect Benin. And that's where they get it wrong. because he's an Edo State governor, he feels that whatever initiative is to have must carry Edo, but he doesn't know that Benin is the brand. Edo is the capital. Edo is like a capital city of Benin Empire. The Benin is the brand that the world knows us. When you go outside Nigeria, when you say you're an Edo man, nobody knows you, nobody understands where you're from. But when you say Benin man, oh Benin Empire, Benin Kingdom, yeah, is that where you're from? It's the brand. People don't understand that Benin is the brand. Edo is never any brand. So when the palace suggests that it should be called Benin Royal Museum, it has to be, it's a perfect name for 2 or 3 reasons. The Benin is the empire, all right? The royal is the owner, the Oba of Benin. Benin, the empire, the brand that houses Edo State, Delta, all of these. Edo is not limited to just Edo State. People should understand that. Benin is the brand. Benin is not restricted to only Edo State. Benin is bigger than Edo State. Edo State, Edo is inside Benin. It's not Benin that is inside Edo. People usually get all of these things mixed up. Edo all the way Benin. A Benin Edo. When was the word Edo formulated here? During the time of Obayewai the first. That Otona. That is the capital city. That is why anywhere you are, Edo is the capital city of Benin. Edo is the capital city of Benin. Benin is the brand. Benin Empire. Benin Kingdom. It is not Edo Kingdom. It is not Edo Empire. Benin, the owner of the artifact, is the royal house, royal. The museum, Benin Royal Museum. All of those are more Edo, whatever, 100 years, I know we'll know what's in that one mean. Or complicate issues. I think a lot of these things it should have a conference, a symposium. He's an intellectual person. Some of these things, I do tie because do ta. This case is beyond Obaseki. Do ta. What's it that will happen? Every Edo person will say, okay, since it's an Edo thing, every Edo person must have a say on this matter. Let's have a public debate and a public interaction section on this matter. Because when Obaseki Edo, let's have a debate on this matter. It's not one person. You can't unilaterally take a decision that is way older than his generation. You should know that. I was even saying that if he insists on saying he must get it done, which I feel he will, he's running against time. The throne of the Oba of Benin is not running any against time. It will be bound. It's not bounded by time. The throne of the Oba of Benin is not bounded by time. It is just, if it lingers on, if I'm opportune to meet with His Majesty, I'll just tell him, letter, all of these authorities, tell them that the deities of the land, of Edo land, has revealed itself that since these artifacts were forcefully stolen from Benin, all right, we have to perform a sacrifice. We have to perform sacrifice for 3 years. So that when they now return this artifact, it will be peaceful for Edo people and the world at large. That's the only letter. That Eseni na Azeni Upeha or 3 years. You understand? Now 3 years na Eseni na Azeni. So before that Eseni is joyful, they should still keep on to those artifacts and use it to make more money for their museums. You understand? Because we know 3 years from now, Oga will be living. His throne, his throne is time bound. You can't win the war. I've been saying it. I bet by your wisdom. Write them in letters. We don't need the artifact. They should keep it. Maazese say 3 years or 3 years back. You have the artifact in your hand. It's not retrogressive. It's not retrogressive. When a man feels that he knows more than the entire land, then you deal with him in the language of wisdom. Is time bound. He's time bound. He will leave. When he leaves, then those artifacts will now come. There will not be any conflict. There will not be any conflict. What I'm trying to say is that the conflict should be avoided, and there are several ways that the conflict should be avoided. But I don't see Obaseki, like all of our supporters, I don't see him winning this war. Except people like us not they involve. my do my drink. Except people like us not they involve. Would they involve winning? I be argue. There will not be any violent talk. And why I bear offend or wacky. And why we use wisdom. Anyway, anyway, we just will find ways around to ensure that the conflict doesn't degenerate more than this. And we should be very careful with the words we use so that so not to hype the entire matters. Okay. These are two basic misunderstandings that I have discovered where it should be cited. I believe that the Obaseki's people misunderstood when the palace said should be sited within the palace ground. I've laid that bare. There shouldn't be any conflict about where he should be cited if he wants to listen. Then on the name, I've also laid that bare. It shouldn't also be a conflict. Waiting West Africa out of whatever, waiting West Africa they do for entire Benin matter. If for your poor Africa, I mean leave West Africa. Or if for use black, since we are the creator of black civilization, for your use black, me come out West Africa, me come out Africa. For your use black. I want to be black all over. That way, the museum now is now for all the black people in the world. All right, but otherwise, the Benin is a brand. The Royal is the owner of the artifact, the Oba of Benin. Benin Royal Museum. All right. Okay, so we are not conflicts. Na ye matter na. Gamwezo for anaga ku. Equal master, ezogi mau. But he won't win the war. I don't need a seer to tell me he won't. He won't. Most of his SSAs and SSGs and deputy governors and all that are not going to support him because we are waiting for them to. Let Obaseki send SSG to write something against the monarch. Then she still have a political ambition, SSG or the deputy governor. So we'll see how their political ambition will be realized after their boss is gone. So it's not a war that any of his people want to engage. It is not convenient for them. It is not convenient for them. It will not be convenient for them at all. It is not a war or logo. War ni a logo. You understand? Anyway, I'm not trying to blow up the entire thing. I'm just saying that Obaseki should be more yielding to what the palace have said, to what the owner of the artifact have said. Should be more yielding. All right, and I'm sure that at one point in time, even the palace will want to also yield. There are some certain things like, okay, if Obaseki now comes out and say, Umogun, it will take about 1,500 feet by 2,000 feet for we to house that museum. And at the end of the day, Adoge Ogere, there's no place within this palace territories that I've mentioned that can get that 1,500 feet by 2,000 feet. Then the owners will not lie on the Oba to not shift ground. Okay, they tell say, Azoy, Nagwali Yohe, Namoy. By that time, Obaseki has given the Oba the right to not decide whether it will move from the palace ground or not. It's all about the Obaseki has to acknowledge the fact that in the decision making of this whole thing, Oba of Benin has the financing, but Obaseki can influence the financing of the Oba of Benin. But he's not taking through that. He's using Nigeria Constitution. Nigerian constitution doesn't fucking work. It work by. So that's about it. No one is. No, not the tear family apart. Oh. I know. Now people, people like us, we know the pick quarrel. Man, I can never pick quarrel. You understand? I can never pick quarrel. Now people mean one fight, now they fight. Man, once it's politics. Have you ever seen Zodo talking about politicians? It, it's not that I don't trust them to believe in any of whatever they say. It's just my personal conviction. Oh, Yata, not Tematarians. I don't like any of them. So I just stay clear from all of them. I don't affiliate with them. I don't go to any of them. I don't talk with any of them. My own, I just might go bush, go office, come back to my house. Those are my activities daily. So when I'm my so having said that, I think this topic has been exhaustively talked about. I just feel that some of the people who might be close, if they eventually stumble on this video, I hope they should be able to have a word or two to our governor, to Chief Grant. Having said that, we can now talk about the next topic. I don't want to talk about that topic anymore. That topic has to be a full day. He might could look a bit like Portugal one score. Sorry. So um, I'm going to lambast some of these community leaders. They are all criminals. Most of them are criminals. 99%. Oh, okay. Let me not to be exaggerating. 95% of them are criminals. I want to lambast a lot of them, but I will just choose another Sunday to treat their fuck up as rightly as possible. I will treat it fuck up. And Owen selling land. What concerns an Owen with land selling? Owen is supposed to be propitiating the deity that Oba has asked him to be propitiating. What kind of here? That someone will not be thinking is not the Alpha and Omega. And there are people who are supporting them for that dubious acts. They are sacrilegious, dubious. People who are supposed to be in Kirikiri. Not supposed to not convict for 25 years. Some of them are even in Nogi. Dubious set of people. Anyway, I'll finish them in my next class. Finish them well. Terrible set of people. People who are supposed to bring law and order. They were instituted in these communities by the Oba of Benin to bring law and order, to be able to be his eye. The Oba of Benin is not God. He couldn't be everywhere at the same time. But these people, for whatever reasons, decide not to be God, play God. How can community people confiscate land from a Benin person and sell it to an Igbo person? Well, nonsense. And we're not even talking about this matter. These people are the biggest problem we have in Edo State. And the earlier we start speaking to them, that most of them are supposed to be in Kirikiri. A Belgian was called. Portugal. Huh? Yes. Anyway. Anyway, like I was saying, all of these community people. Sorry, I pick joke even when I'm in the middle of a very serious matter. I don't want people to get tense, so that's why I crack joke all the time. I try to crack joke even if it's not funny. Okay, like I was saying, all of this there you get go now. Very sweet. Yeah, man. Oh, Sanu does it. Okay. Okay. Lot of these a lot of these community herds are terrible. Very, very terrible. Very terrible. Very terrible. It's shameful that a lot of these people denying even their own Edo people for outsiders. I know some of those Yoruba guys will come and say, I'm too tribalistic. Tribal waiting. I'll fucking be tribalistic for the rest of my life. As far as it concerns the interest of my people, that's the only interest I have. Because Yoruba doesn't have any other people's interests. And a lot of them, I see their commentaries. That I'm too tribalistic. Everything about me is tribal, whatever. I don't understand. I don't understand. And it's shameful that we're even speaking like this or say, yeah, that before the JAMA returns, they will give us condition. They will give us condition. Yeah, yeah. Is it their own property? I think Benin should be. See, when this whole thing, remember I did a video when this whole thing started. I had questioned that how can the British or the German be giving us condition on our own properties? And we're happy. Our Basaki is clapping. It's clapping. How can they give us condition on our own properties? If they don't want to give to us, it should be unconditional. Don't you get? Not to tell us that a museum a museum a museum a museum So my brother, let's not play politics with these things. If they want to return it, God, my time will come in this Edo land. Wherefore, I will not be taking nonsense that you stole things from us. You will not still be giving us condition to return. Do wavio. Do wavio. They give us condition. This is nonsense condition. Then you now agree. If you agree on that condition, that means you have failed. Why should you agree? I will give you a condition. I beg what say, why, my brother? It's an African problem. It's an African problem. How can those common criminals and thieves be giving us condition as to how to return what was stolen? We are supposed to be talking. Obaseki is supposed to be asking them to pay restitution. Osugo no to apologize for stealing our property and using our property to make money. Am I turning? That the British or whatever are supposed to return all of these artifacts with a lot of money. Maybe like $5 billion. $5 billion. I'm gonna buy any man. I'm gonna buy any man. There was a museum at that time. Go and check in 1897. What's that? How am I buy you? You understand? $5 billion. It would sweet me for a year. Say we tell them to have $5 billion because it was in my eye once is 1897. Don't you know how many years ago that is? About 123, 124 years. Let it tell us how much money they have made. We're not talking about those ones in private collections. All right? It is estimated that the Benin bronze artifact are found inside about 106 galleries and museums all over the world. 106 galleries and museums all over the world, excluding the ones within the private collection of individuals. Check how much these people have made in the period of about that 123, 124 years of stealing our properties. And now they are still giving us conditions. Anyway, talking about whoever wants to go and be saying they should give you people condition. I'm not in any position to negotiate. I'm not the Oba of Benin. I'm not the state government. I'm just an Edo person who's trying to just make my own little difference or whatever. So they yeah, they're not here. But Oga Segopa, Bagavi Oga Segoka, when I make Oka, I make you Oga Segeme. Then we'll not be in the right position to actually tell these people that they are mad authoritatively in public lectures that they are very fucking mad. That we need $5 billion with our artifact. With our artifact, $5 billion. If you bring $5 billion, if $5 billion come at those states, for example, if they're not, if big boys, all those politicians not still land, still put out for private pocket, you don't know what thing will do for a land. Aha, na no ya na we Lisa Samuel. Eno ya na ye oni area we ndege na ya bi artifact ni re. Na we have do artifact vio. Awe bi ani we gbe, awe politician. Ya we gbegbe. O se na. Awon sia. Na e cause wahala so. Awon sia. Na we have na we have na so some no some break, some fall for inside river as they bring am. Awe bi ani we gbe. You understand? You know how the matter be. And that's what I've said. The upper can even decide to say, now I build the museum in Abuja, but it has to be the permission of the owner. In all of this, it is, if they say me they go build down for Ronigbe, if Godwin said now Ronigbe want go build down, it's not bad though. If the upper said, okay, no problem. You understand? It's not bad though. What we are saying is that the owner must give the permission first before any other thing. The owner must give the permission first. The owner get the permission here when they cannot do anything they want to do. It will not be on record that okay, they mismanage the artifact because the Oba permitted them to. You understand? Only that's just a summary of the entire Van Obasan. Van Obasan. That's just a summary. They come. They didn't react by Yona. Oh. You don't know. Okay, I think we're done with our topic. I wanted to talk about the leadership, the elders of a lot of these communities and how they are misbehaving. I think I should dedicate one day to whoop their ass and tell them that how dubious that they are not supposed to even be called Benin people. I mean, mad dining here. They have equal way going on. Our more Wednesday, our big museum in Eugene. We all build that museum for inside Kenolo Konakari Bema, that river. Our boy, wow. It will be a spiritual museum. Actually, Benin Royal Spiritual Museum. I reason my brother Eugene. Actually, Benin Royal Spiritual Museum. Because Olokun will not be the one to protect it. You understand? The last one I want to quickly say is last week Sunday, I said something about my travel to uh, my travel to Ezolukunya, my travel to Accra. Um, that the Ga people of Accra sent invitation to me to join them. Sorry. Okay. Okay, sorry. It was network. I'm back. Am I back? Um, the way forward, the way forward. Okay, let me just quickly talk about that before I talk the way forward. I was invited to Accra by people, the GA people, and way forward, I had spoken about people who want to do support and all that. I'm really, really, really very astonished by the support I've had. Um, Almost few minutes after I was done with that live program, I had a sister, Osaugwe. All right, Osaugwe. Yeah, I think she's not online. I don't know. Probably she's online. She sent 50,000. Then one of our brother, I don't even know his name, but he said he's Nosa. He asked me how much was the flight ticket to and fro. I said as at that time it was 85,000, so that was 170,000 for the flight ticket. So he now said the balance is 120,000. So he sent 120,000 immediately. So I had 170,000 that few minutes or few hours immediately after the live program. Then the following day, one other of our sister, I think she's in London, she's in UK. Um, she sent another 50,000 or more Segbe. All right, so that's 220,000. That's 220,000. Then I had one of her sister, yeah, Lovett Osa. She's not here. She has been supporting Obaseki since yesterday. She's almost fighting with everybody. She sent 40,000, I think, 2 days ago. 2 days ago, yeah. That's 260,000. So another of our brothers sent 20,000. I can't really remember his name. That's about 280,000 or so that have been sent. So I eventually had to call our brother that works in the airport. I think he has been having some special now with Facebook because he might be here for 2 days now. I'll tell you, Ogbede or your Yamu. Might be here for 2 days. I don't have any tear bug with Facebook. So I had to call him to quickly book a flight to and fro, 2nd of July, and for me to return 5th of July. Although at the end of at that time, the ticket has now increased from 170,000 to 207,000. We made that payment. He has already booked the flights to and fro. I'm leaving on the 2nd of July and to return on the 5th. I'm returning back to Nigeria on the 5th of July. Although I'm giving a resounding welcoming. I've been talking with the overlord's son, one of the prince, who is a very good friend. They are going to bring the media house and a lot of their cultural troupe to come and receive me. I want to enjoy. So I've not told you, when the Ghanaian women, the women, their nyash are very huge. I'll tell us let me add one. Yeah. I mean, it keep in Izogwo. Yeah, you know more by me for the welcoming. So for the preparation, I was in talk with him yesterday. He said they are all going to receive me in a grand style, But I've been trying to reach a couple of mine. What I'm not really too happy is that I'm trying to reach a couple of our people in Accra to also join, so that that sort of. It's been really. I've not been getting positive replies from our people, basically. Uh, to receive me, but I'm still in talk. If any of you knows any person in Accra, any Benin person, so that I can reach out to the person so that they can all join, um, for us all to bond, and so that we can all go to the festival, which is Saturday, July 3rd. It's called Obeneshimo. They wanted me to stay for like 2 weeks. No, I can't leave my job. In short, 4 days leaving my job. I've not left my job for beyond 2 days for the past 2 years. So I have to work hard. I'm a winner. So I work really very hard. So, but now I'll be off for about 5-6 days. So I just pray that my staffs are able to get my job done while I'm not around. So about the only setback there is that I would have loved for me to have my people, a lot of our people, Benin people, to also join, so that so that we can all felicitate and we can all experience the welcoming nature of our people, the God people. Wherefore, one Yoruba guy said they follow me, they argue the other time saying, the God people are Yoruba people. Me, I know they follow anybody, they argue. Now, live video now with the send, live video. I heard the follow up from July 2nd. That's why I send a live video. It will hear the live video, well, it will hear the flow so that they can't tell. Let them go and try. Let them go and try. You understand? Oni wanted to go and install some chieftaincy titles in Garland January last year. But they are giving Benin people a grand welcoming. So that's the difference. No argument. That's the difference. So I know my people. So almost everything is set. Almost everything is set. So I'll be leaving for Lagos on January, on the first of said 1st of January, 1st of July. So 2nd of July I'll be off to Accra. Then 5th of July I should be back to Lagos, and probably 6th of July I should be back to Benin by the willingness and the graciousness of God and our ancestors. So I know. All right. Some people were asking for the way out. The way out is very simple. The way out of the debacle. I've said it before. The governor should go and meet his father, the Oba of Benin. So straighten some of these things he's not cleared about. Some of these things I talked about he's not aware. And I'm not telling him for free. I'm not paying this. I will pay them. I just told him for free that when we call Palace Ground, this is what it means. So they are not conflicts. So he allowed the Oba dictate the tune, but he can influence the Oba on how the tune can. There's a way you talk. Okay, Omo talk by where you want to provide a space from the Palace Ground. We need 1,500 feet by 2,500 feet as the landmass I'll be using in building that museum. Will we be able to get it within the palace ground? The Oba will now go and look and say, okay, we were not able to get that, but we got 1,000 feet by 1,000 feet. This is the architectural pattern that we have put in place. It will require much more than that size of land. Okay, let's that's the actual size that we can use. We no longer have church. Okay, no problem. Okay. What sites do you not have in mind? And I'm going to answer, okay, it's good. So, Omo is determining the terms and conditions, but invariably, Obaseki is influencing him in determining the site's wisdom. By that time, the conflict is okay, okoyone, on the same and the Oba was there, more time, yo, and that's the issue now. That's the issue now. Oba said, "Give only a tie." No, I go with tie. No, that's the issue. Oba tie, but if you are smart, you can influence him in no tie. I am your bar. No, so that means you can actually influence the Oba in taking some certain critical decisions. But in humility, anyway, as we did, and Okoromi, why you go build and put? Well, one artifact. So that's about the issue. And that's the way forward. That people are talking about the way forward. But on the other ground, that's a mower. That one is nonsense. Only that one is not even supposed to even prop up. It should be called Benin Royal Museum. I don't know anything that ties up with a mower. Badadash. Okay, haven't said that. I'm exhausted. I think we need to round up. And have fun. I think I'll see you guys in Accra. The next time we'll see in Accra. I'll like be Accra. So that guy that said wants to reach me, please, reach me, please. To ask some of our people in Accra to join me. Understand? So if you see girl, fine woman, reach me. Adeyagba, it's bachelorhood. Adeyagba, very important. Adeyagba. Why I will say, I'll give them the greetings. Of course, I want to mess up. I want to mess up. I carry the blessings. I carry the blessings of our ancestors. So obviously, I'm going there to strengthen the historical ties between us and them. You understand? At every given opportunity that I'm given, that I'm opportuned, I represent Benin to full. I represent Benin to full. And I see they look for money. Oh, Kizito the Great. Why you go? Understand? Why bless him? You bless me like 5 million. You my brother. I've already talked about it in our previous videos on what I feel about United Kingdom of Great Benin. I don't have any issues about that. I don't have any issues with that. I totally use my big chest and my big head with my beers to support. And Midwest in Yatan, my own one. Why I was say. Obviously, the ancestors are with me. They say I don't resemble Obora, man. Why we do deport me, man? If you deport me, make sure you deport me to Canada. Don't want to deport me, man, from Benin Kingdom straight to Canada. I want to be deported to Canada, not to Calabar. If you want to deport me now, don't want to deport me, man, straight to Canada. I don't. C0 Calabar, Canada. What it be you guys? You not be Benin person. You not be Benin person, Lisa Samuel. What it be you guys? What do you do? To Japan, but yeah, we Japan. All those Japanese fine wines. Or Timan or I club every day, or every Fridays. Wicked parole. I'd like to also go to Japan. I'd like to also go to Japan. Because of those Japanese fine ladies. Why I was it? So I think we're rounding up now. So any question? Oh, Malaki Talo. Any Kulogbe. Oh, Canada, America with man, those America burgers. No, Italy. What in here? It's not like me. I'm living from Benin to Benin because I hear where do what is there with do. I boy, I know equator where do is there. So I'm living from Benin to Benin. I Italy now. All those Italy, Spain, France. I will join you. If we are stay, I can just go probably to go and deliver lecture. Probably I'll soon start my Europe tour. That's the best. Okay, on your buyer. Say I want to stay, brother, for free. You, oh wow, man, oh wow, man, you for free. If you want to take me out, who are they? Where are they? Canada. Oh, it's a pound man. Yeah, are you where? So in all of these, ED or Tele or SARS or BAS, Afghanistan, am I? Yeah, I'm cool. I've told you my mind. So you cannot convince me to go to where I don't want to go. Italy out, cancel. Afghanistan, cancel. Togo. Nigeria must anyway. As bad as Nigeria, my must have a Togo. My take on your faith. People me they look for me. Now they might take. I know if it to me, they don't go use juju kill me. Don't go use juju kill me. Our man, Italy. I know it's the best place. Medio. I know they go Italy. Now Benin and they speak there now. Like Ipa Iware Ariowa. Kev Khalifa, quickly say because I'm rounding up now. What's your question? Kev Khalifa. Not be me talk. You say make I carry on you follow body. I know if you carry on you follow body. The UK. No, 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 no. The taxation in UK, I can't cope. Why can we go? The UK government will just be taking all the money. How are they cope for that UK? Taxation system is killing. You. That's a place I want to work. My uncle is in Dublin. I have a big uncle there. My mom's younger brother, Osazuwa Best. He's a big man in Dublin. I know. Remember, okay, I think I'll. Okay, bring it on. Join us quick on time next week Sunday so that I can talk about. I talked about them. I talked about two of them. It was remaining one. Three, three, three powerful personalities that ni laido inyagari egienine if they have been instituted, if they have been given that particular title, if they have been given that title, you know. So at about it. So at this very point, I think I'm rounding up. I have to thank all of you who are here and those of you who have been following me for years. I keep thanking all of you. You guys are most amazing and wonderful. I'm humbled to be able to share all my historical knowledge with all of you, and I'm grateful as well for the support and that I've had in recent years, and people keep supporting me with my obvious lapses. Sometimes I can be a pain in the ass, but I'm down to earth. I'm an amazing person if you know me. Just buy me whiskey. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You don't win my heart with that. Don't win my. You buy me whiskey. You don't win my heart with that. So now so the matter be. Mhm. So you guys are most amazing. So my prayer is that wherever you guys are all located, that God Almighty and our ancestors continue to empower and bless all of you. Economic power is what I pray for. If we, if Benin's are rich enough, we'll be able to control a lot of things. It's words. If we don't seize the economic power, we won't be able to seize a lot of these things. I keep telling people, Benin has to be thinking smart in how to make words for themselves. When I mean word, real words, evil, or if they're kind of wrong, not tick, you know, you know, when we start having that economic power, we start taking responsibilities of a whole lot of things in our lands, and we don't have to rely on a lot of these so-called elites to take charge of our land, and that's what I pray for all of you. So we'll get it when we get there. Why I was it, and remember, this conversation was meant to not um, further complicate the 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 conflict. It was fine. It was fine. It was to explain in details what the palace meant and what the state government meant. I can only speak better for the palace. I'm better placed to speak for the palace than for the government. So I spoke favorably on behalf of the palace. I might not be correct, but I had fact of what the palace meant. I might not have been correct. Excuse me, please. I might not have been correct, but sometimes I am full, and I also take responsibilities for the knowledge and for my ignorance. And so if there are other bit of corrections, no problem. We'll take corrections. So, so I'll see you guys, and please, you all that wish me well, I call you. I name went. Boy, I kidnapping him with Ghana. Understand? The boy, yeah, yeah, it's a Ghana. I don't know who he like. Me, Jowa, my brother. That Jowa. If you have a Ghana visa, is even stronger than Nigeria visa. Me, that Jowa. So, I never get me who no more say, yeah, I'm your no was so go. I must say, I say Nigeria. The only thing, the only time I hear they come out to come pack small load. I pack a small load, me move. So and so now so the matter be. So I'll see all of you guys on Sunday, and we'll keep talking. Why I was about talk about yes, sir. All right. Good night.